Mr. Mungle, thank you again for joining us. We have a very special tutorial this time around. This is unfortunately, post-Halloween, as fate would have it. This is an early Halloween video for 2022.
That's
so
right.
this is for all of those of you overachievers who are already starting on your prosthetic work for 2022. This is an early Halloween gift. So in this tutorial, we are going to be doing a fairly elaborate prosthetic makeup on my eldest daughter, Renee.
Yes.
And this particular makeup is going to incorporate a number of techniques, which and I'll let you explain these, but this is going to incorporate standard prosthetics, flat molds,
Right.
prosthetic teeth, contacts, a whole host of things, which,
Yes.
as fate
we
would
pick
have
it
it, it's covered extensively here. So we're not.
And there's a Wolfman book.
There is a
seminar, too.
Wolfman book as
Yes.
well. In this,
Yeah.
the teeth that you're doing on Renee are covered extensively. The technique
They
are going to be in this book.
They're
right
covered
here.
in this book, and the Wolfman.
The Wolfman has-
seminar as well. Yes.
Now, this particular makeup is unique in that while this is a prosthetic makeup with positive, negative molds, this is not made off of Renee's life cast.
That is correct. That
So
is correct.
take it away. So
Okay.
which makeup?
So I kind of prided myself in my career of just pulling stuff out the bag and doing a makeup. So trying to make a prosthetic fit that wasn't made for the artist, I thought I'd show that technique this time. Because sometimes we're called on to do makeups that we don't have time enough to prep pieces for the actor, don't have a face cast, et cetera, et cetera. So it's important to sculpt it as you're doing it with that in mind. That, okay, I can't necessarily make the nose fit perfectly, so I'm going to sculpt it in a different way. And this was sculpted basically for a little short film I was making, and I just found a negative mold face cast that was taken of an actress when we were on Salem. Don't know her name, I'm sorry. Plus we don't want to get into that. And I sculpted it in mind to fit on Mike McCracken, who I used as my subject in the short film. So, and then for this makeup in particular, I sculpted another chin, and I sculpted neck waddle that I'm going to apply to Renee.
Excellent. Now, I notice you've got flat molds for the neck waddle.
Yeah, so let's start out with that. So what I thought is we need, that you could probably see on my neck, it has little tenuous loose skin that folds down this way, that follows down this way, and then kind of where your collarbones come together here. So I thought, well, let me sculpt this, both sides, and then this down in here. And I can fit it wherever I want to, at any angle I want to on the neck. And then put stretch and stipple around that and make it. Normally, you could do a full neck piece, but I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to be caught into that, oh, I have to put a whole neck piece on and stuff. And now, plus, I want to get a little crepey skin on it. And you can't do that on a prosthetic. So on real skin, you can do that with latex and cotton, et cetera, et cetera. So I sculpted this, put, these are tongue depressors around it, just glued them on the side, and then poured 7325. Of course, you can use 7315, is it? The clear.
That's the clear one.
Yeah, you could use that, which is a little softer than this, but this is not one of those that's going to be a transfer. So I love the 25, the 7325, because I normally vacuum it, but you don't necessarily have to. If you paint it in, it's thin enough, as you know,
Yes.
you taught me. It's thin enough to pour into the mold. So got this mold and did the technique of course, I used Super Baldies as a skin. actually painted it in and didn't spray it in. I did 3 light coats into the mold, and then I plasticized. It was Plat Sil
Flat Seal 10.
10,
Okay.
and it was I think it was 150% on this. So I had a lot of mobility on it. So and then vacuumed that, of course, poured that in, scraped it off, and then painted another only 2 coats of the super ballies in the back. And this will be glued with silicone adhesive onto the skin. So you can see those pieces. And I made this, the silicone very translucent. That way you have some place to go to and you're not caught in this color and you have to match the skin to that color. So with translucency, you can add any colors you want.
Excellent. Okay, now moving right along, we have the face positive and negative in the chin.
Yeah. Okay, so this is 1630. Actually, I think this is a quick cast.
Oh, the quick cast gray. Okay.
This is the quick cast gray. And for time's sake, I just poured it solid. You don't necessarily have to do this. And you can make a fiberglass mold if you wanted to. But for this, I just did it real fast. And this is just a general face cast of an actress we took a face cast of on Salem. So face cast, I sculpted the piece with clay onto it. Now, the piece, going back to a general piece, I knew I wanted brow covers, so I sculpted those. And then the nose, I sculpted down in here. You don't want to be caught up that you have to fit the nose onto the nostril area right here and the nasolabial fold. So I ended my sculpt right before it started to turn under, right in here. That way it can fit on anybody's nose. And then, of course, it went down in this area from the nasolabial folds, the cheek area a little bit, and that was sculpted on. And then a negative was made, and this is, so this is a gel coat, which is polypoxy 6060 a surface coat. That's your first 2 coats of that. And then you're doing your mold this way. Let me put this back over here so you can see what we're doing here. Of course, I put clay around here so I wouldn't make a huge mold. I wanted to make a really nice negative mold. In fact, I was just experimenting with this stuff. This is the first mold I made with this stuff. And then after those 2 coats have set, the gel coat, then you go in with the laminating resin, which is the polypoxy 5008-2, and tap glass into it, fiberglass cloth. I think I used about 3 layers of fiberglass cloth. Let that set up, put some epoxy putty on here, which you sell, which is the number is, do you remember that?
Okay. That's so new.
I know, it's great epoxy putty. Just put it on the top so I have a flat surface, and then went back after that set and put 1 light coat of the gel coat over, just a beauty coat, you know. So pop that off, clean the clay out, and you have your positive and your negative, if you can see that, positive and negatives right here, and made the pieces with super baldies. The same way, but I airbrushed the super baldies in, and then used the same silicone as I made the neck piece from.
And did you deaden this more than you did on the flat molds, or less?
I didn't. It was the same mixture.
About 150%.
It was 150% of deadener. So that's the face. Then I wanted, for this particular, I didn't do it for the other makeup. I wanted a chin. So I thought I'll do take this negative again of her face cast and pour up a small chin in the negative, and then pop that chin out, do a cup, or I took, vinyl matting that you can get in any hardware store. made a round circle, kind of suspended this in the round circle open area with clay, just kind of to bring it up, and then poured quick cast 8655 into that just to encapsulate it. So you have a chin that's encapsulated also in the a chin that's 8655, and then encapsulated in the 8655 as a mold. And then sculpted the little chin on and made the negative mold, like so. So you've got a nice little mold like that, very small. I've just put the markers on the outside, and the appliances were made the same way as the face.
Excellent. So yeah, so very, very a wide spectrum of things being incorporated on the witch makeup.
Yes.
So without further ado, we're going to start with we'll get Renee into place and get this going. This is going to be a several-part video because there's a lot of information. This is definitely the deep end of the pool. So again, not to sound like a sales pitch, but if you want to really dive in and understand all this, I cannot stress enough the booklet form. This one covers everything that Matthew will be doing here in great detail. So this is going to focus on the application, but if you really want to understand all the lab work leading up to this, this will encompass all of this from the flat molds to the positive, negative molds.
As well as the Wolfman workbook. And yeah, and we'll see you on the next video.
So,
yeah.
Excellent. Thank you. So,
Good.
all right. So.